They were like, you're perfectly healthy and it's just IBS and it's just the way your gut is and you'll have to live that way. Hello, good morning from Cancun, Mexico. Where to even start with the story? Where to even start? I am obsessed with gut health, and that all started in Tulum. I was around 17. I came to Tulum on vacation with my family, and we went snorkeling in a cenote, and I ended up getting some of the water into my snorkel and drinking it. I got kind of food poisoning type symptoms, basically. I did recover, we went back to the US, but things just kind of broke down after that, which is a pretty common experience from post-infectious IBS, which is what I now believe had happened from that exposure. My gut health was never quite the same after that. I ended up having chronic digestive issues that lasted over a decade. And the hopeful side of the story is that I did heal. I finally healed in 2018, and I have wanted to come back to Tulum to kind of have this like full circle moment of the whole experience. It's apparently a pretty spiritual and healing place here, so I've just wanted to honor the whole thing that I went through, kind of hoping to close the loop in some way and to overcome the fear of coming back here. I'm not totally sure what I will get from this trip. There's part of me that has wanted to come here since 2018. There's part of me that hasn't because I've been so afraid. I feel like there's a lesson for me here, so I'll take you guys along for the journey and hopefully give you some hope that if you're going through gut issues, post-infectious IBS, or anything else, you're on your healing journey. You have your own story. And at one point, whether it's months from now or potentially even years from now, you'll be on the other side of that. As long as you never give up on your healing, you can arrive at the place where you're on the other side of that story, looking back on all of the lessons and integrating them within your life. And honestly, as horrible as it was so worth it. That being said, my ride is here. Thank you guys for being here, for watching, and I will see you in Tulum. Night 2 in Mexico. First night in Tulum. I just got here. I am pretty tired. I'm probably gonna go try and find some pizza, call it an early night, and I'm meeting a friend for a yoga class first thing in the morning, so probably be passed out here by like 9 p.m. I got in yesterday afternoon. This is where I'm staying. First impressions of Tulum. There's like a warm hug in the air here. It's like the smells and the energy, and it's been a full moon. It's the beginning of the year of the horse. My birth year was also the year of the horse, and it just feels like there's like a buzzing of energy here. I'm staying at Holistica. It is kind of a yoga retreat hotel. There's mold everywhere. I could show you some in the bathroom, like all the things, but it is feeling really peaceful. My aura ring metrics are all very good, and I just feel strong. I did end up buying a ticket to a Rufus Du Sol DJ set. Didn't realize that it is a sunrise set. I was at a yoga class with an expat who was going to this show, and a friend connected us. So we went to yoga this morning, and we actually just found out that the show doesn't start until 4:30 a.m. I'm a baby grandma. You can't enter past like 3 a.m. It's been a challenge to figure out like how I want to go about this. It's gonna be interesting, but it's an opportunity for me to show myself that my body is healthy enough to do these things, even if it's not my preference and I like my routines and everything like that. I think it's good to push yourself sometimes and have new experiences that you want to have, even if they're a little bit inconvenient or cause you to lose sleep at times. Was planning on going to see the cenote where I originally got sick from. First thing tomorrow morning, somewhere after sunrise, but learning that I'm going to pretty much be out all night, and then the cenotes don't open until like 10 a.m. It's kind of putting a wrench in this whole plan, so I don't know how I'm going to feel in the morning after being out all night. I'm just going to trust the process. I think my plan right now is just to have dinner, go to bed early, wake up very, very early at like midnight, meet up with these expats and go to the Rufus show. And then I know I'll make it to the cenote when I'm meant to and have that kind of full circle moment that I came here for. I will make my way to the cenote. That is what I'm here for, CBD. Aside from that, I also wanted to continue the story of what ended up happening after I had the cenote poisoning and the post-infectious IBS develop. Prior to having IBS, I had very good gut health, very good health in general. All of a sudden, I just couldn't digest food, and basically I had mixed IBS, so I dealt with
constipation and loose stools and mucus and blood in my stool and all these other weird things that would happen. I got very bloated and distended. I had been skinny my whole life, but I had this like belly, gained weight, had a terrible relationship with food. I would restrict because food made me feel so sick, and it gave me so much abdominal pain and cramping and urgency and anxiety. I felt uncomfortable being close to people. I felt shameful about my symptoms, and I didn't really want to put that burden on anybody around me because I knew nobody could help me. Whenever I would open up about it, it was like just met with like blank stares, basically, even by doctors. So I realized that that was pretty unproductive. I saw many doctors, had a colonoscopy, went through Western Med, did pharmaceuticals, all of that. They were like, you're perfectly healthy and it's just IBS and it's just the way your gut is and you'll have to live that way. There was part of me that wouldn't accept that only because I knew what health looked like from my past, and I believed that I could get back to that place. Started playing with diet and taking things into my own hands, kind of biohacking, supplements, all of the things, probiotics, you name it. I was plant-based for 4 years. It was so tough. I remember, like, now it's very normalized to have gut issues, but back in 2007, 2008, like, I was the one who felt like I was in the bathroom between classes at my university for hours, and I felt like nobody else was doing that. You know, if I wanted to work out, I would have to make sure that I didn't eat anything before. I would get 6 months pregnant looking from the bloat. I had to wear really baggy clothes to hide that. A sip of water would set off my gut and make everything spasm and cramp and painful and give me like gas and bloating. There were no specific foods that were safe. It was literally everything. I had anxiety and low mood and things that I had never dealt with before. I knew every bathroom in town, and the anxiety of being social would even set me off more. I would just restrict to the point of like, my body would demand food, and then I would basically binge whatever I could. And then I'd feel so horrible and sick again. And this created also a shame spiral in addition to feeling horrible in my body. I felt so guilty because I just didn't understand why I couldn't just basically live without eating. Yeah, it just changed everything. It changed the way I ate, the way I dressed, the way I had relationships or chose not to, and chose to keep everyone at arm's length because I was afraid to get close to anybody. I know some of you watching this will understand this, which is why I'm sharing this story. It was really, really confusing for me as a late teenager, early 20s, mid 20s, late 20s. Mine lasted a very long time. To understand this, when at the time, like, nobody was talking about this, felt very alone in it, and nobody around me seemed to be dealing with these issues. I compensated with exercise to try and get rid of the physique changes it created. I tried to compensate with diet, alcohol. I wore baggy clothing to hide the bloating. It was just something that was very lonely, isolating, and painful on a daily basis all day. It consumed hours and hours of my day every day. And then when I was on my healing journey after years of dealing with it and realizing that nobody around me would help me and that I was going to have to help myself, then it became hours and hours a day of symptom management on top of hours and hours a day of research. Just looking for any answers, looking for anything to try, and trying new things all the time and getting so much hope, and then trying things and having so much disappointment, or just then turning to the next thing and looking for the next hope again. As a result of how painful that was, I think it was not within my comfort zone to come right back to Tulum. Even after I healed, I was like pretty hesitant about it. I knew it was something I wanted to do, but when you have like PTSD from a place, you don't necessarily rush to go back there. But I'm really proud of myself for coming here and for facing that fear, because it feels like that power that I've been giving it is gone now. Those were my symptoms. That's the update from Tulum, and I'm looking forward to making it to the cenote when I can, once we get through this whole crazy night of Rufus to Soul. So I will update you guys very soon. Ciao. All right, it is cenote day, and I'm getting ready to check out of this hotel. I got up early to go to the cenote, but I'm realizing I'm not positive which cenote I got sick at, and I can't ask my mom. She's the only person that would really know, but she is no longer with us. My dad isn't sure which one we went to, so
I'm gonna kind of wing it. I actually think that the one that it was is more to the north, and it's like a 35-minute drive, and I'm going through there tomorrow on the way to the airport anyway, so I might try this other local one first, and then if it doesn't seem right, I will try stopping by the other one that I think it might be tomorrow on the way back to Cancun Airport. So I'm heading out to Grand Cenote right now, hoping that that is the one.
I am getting ready to head back out to Cancun Airport right now so that I can fly back to California. As I kind of feared, the cenote that I went to yesterday ended up not feeling like the cenote. It didn't feel familiar, and from the photos, I always kind of thought it was this other cenote, Los Ojos, something like that, but it was a lot further to get there from Tulum without a car. Basically, we're going to be driving right through that area on the way back to Cancun Airport, so I'm going to try and sneak a peek of it on the way through. A game time moment, is that the saying? It's like my last chance to maybe see it, so if I don't, it's not the end of the world. But I'm gonna finish this coffee up first, try and maybe jump in the ocean for one last swim, and then we'll be heading out to the airport. I just wanted to close this video out real quick from San Diego with a couple of thoughts. I feel like I got everything I needed to right when I stepped off the plane in the peninsula. I wanted to find the cenote, but I realized after the fact it really didn't matter if I made it to the right cenote or not. The real takeaway I had was I was so afraid that my sickness journey had taken away that adventurous side of myself that loved to travel and experience, different countries, different cultures, and who was so fearless about doing things like that. And I think that that's my takeaway for you all, is that we're all going to go through hard things in life, whether it's with your health or with something else. And I think our job as humans is to really not let those experiences make us jaded, make us cold, or closed off to living life in the way that we once did. So always being willing to come back to our truest selves and do those things that make us happy. I hope you enjoyed the video if you made it this far, and hopefully you learned something or got something out of it. But my lesson for you would be the real work here that we're all doing is never give up on yourself and try not to let the circumstances of your life change who you are fundamentally. And on that note, I'm going to wrap things up. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.